Hello everyone, and welcome to PAX Area Gaming. My name is Reg, your host along this journey. We have finally reached Chapter 6, the final chapter of Black Myth Wukong. In this chapter, we will be covering the first part of Chapter 6, which is to recover many of the armor pieces, actually all of the armor pieces, from Sun Wukong. But before we do all of that, we will see a nice little cutscene. This is basically the end of Chapter 5's cutscene. That made more sense to put it at the beginning of Chapter 6, since it leads directly into Chapter 6, and it's my favorite animated scene in the game. I'll let it play out without talking over it. But it gives a little bit more of the backstory of Sun Wukong and his relationship with the Bull King. You will see a number of characters from the Celestial Court. Some you've seen at the beginning of the game with the opening cutscene. And some you've not seen before. But they all make an appearance in Journey to the West, the novel on which characters of this game is based. What you're actually seeing is the beginning of the game, where we were introduced to Sun Wukong and his battle with the Celestial Court. That's of course Erlang Chen, the Bull King. Queen Rakshasa.
那孩子是他们逼我吃了子母河的水借腹而生。若无那只猴子，我们本可当这一切从未发生。你我从此两地分居，各自清静。
Red boy lurking there.
老匹夫，你早知我身世，为何还愿做他们的狗？ 孩儿本不想与你恩断义绝，若还念一丝骨肉情分，就该把那东西交付于我，放我回去给童孙报仇。大王，这把扇子送与那猢狲，叫他退兵去吧。 教训了女儿，我送人了。今日你婆娘那柄扇子，我也要定了。任师傅修正过，只有这条路是留给我们走的。长兄还不明白吗？
猴哥，那老牛的小娘子 也被我一耙处死了。拨开一看，原来是个玉面狸精。
That's King Li and his son, Prince Neja, who is rumored to be Erlang Shen's brother, King Li, his father. No, his father was not a god. Their mother was. Their mother was the sister to the Jade Emperor, the ruler of the Celestial Court.
夜叉毕竟是8部战力之首，纵然铁打的筋骨死个百十回也合情理。可那小鱼儿、小车子，为何也打得这般狼狈？风风火火，云里雾里，你所见即是你所愿。若不是心神不安，怎会被自作聪明的孩儿所骗？急之亦不暇，缓之或自明。下次没了悟能，你还能悟空吗
？Okay, so now we have 5 relics with 1 left to get. And we're going to jump right into the final chapter of the game, entitled Unfinished. But we will finish it. This is Mount Haoguo, I guess is how it's pronounced, where Sun Wukong was actually born or hatched. I'm not quite sure how you would describe it. But anyway, that's where his origins lie. And so the Destined One and Bajie are going back to the beginning to bring about an end, which brings about a new beginning. There are those who will describe this chapter as one giant boss run, And I really can't debate that too much. There are basically all bosses. I mean, there are a couple of non-boss enemies in this area. And there are a couple of minor ones to complete side quests, like the Poison Chiefs, and the Son of Stones. But there are some main bosses that you need to defeat in order to acquire Sun Wukong's armor. This section of Mount Haoguo is actually called the foothills. But there will be, I believe, 4 shrines in this area. And when you move out of this area, which we will do in part 2 of chapter 6, I think there are 2 shrines. Oh, there's also a secret boss that we're going to tackle in the second part as well. That secret area does not exist in chapter 6. So it's one of those ones where you have to go back to a prior chapter. But first, let's take these guys out. And because we're on Mount Haoguo, I'll just call it Mount H, so I can stop mispronouncing it. Since we're here, Sun Wukong's staff, Jingle Bang, is now active again with 4 focus points. That only happens in this area. I mean, that's not true. You can make it have 4 focus points in other areas, but you have to sort of work up to it. In this one, it's a little bit more automatic. And in the first playthrough, you play without Jingle Bang, so you have to use another weapon. And the focus point issue is not an issue at all, because you would only ever have a max of 3. Okay, so we're at the Verdant Path. And you want to use any mind cores that you have. Since you're in the final chapter of the game, there's no real reason to hold on to those things. So you want to use the mind cores. You want to use anything else that you can use to upgrade armor or equipment. Since at this point you'll still be using a different staff. So if you need to, you can go back to Zodiac Village and do all of that. Pay them one last visit. Get any soaks or potions you need. Upgrade your gourd if it's not already maxed. Talk to each of the characters before you continue your journey on. So yeah, you will be fighting bosses, and so you will gain other things, but I don't think there are a lot of mind cores in this chapter. And you can also, actually, I shouldn't say that, because you can probably buy them from the shrine. You can either find them by defeating enemies, and that's your reward, or you can actually purchase a number of them from each of the shrines. So if you haven't done that at this point, go back to any shrines where you didn't purchase a mind core, purchase all the mind cores that you could purchase, and then have Zoodog upgrade your anything that's not already upgraded. You know, stamina is going to be important for at least one of the bosses here. Mana is important for your spells, things like that. So you want to max everything out that you possibly can. Let's see. There's going to be, in this chapter, you have you probably have a little bit of everything. You have you have a poison-based boss. It's actually one of the mini bosses. You have a couple of bosses that sort of turn themselves into stone. You have, in the secret area, you have frost and you have lightning. In a sort of later fight, you have same thing, frost and lightning. Don't think there's fire. So it's poison, frost, and lightning are the three banes that you have to worry about. Actually, no, that's not true. Fire is one of them as well. I just remembered. Yeah, fire is definitely one of them. Actually, it's an early one, so I should have remembered that. So you want to collect your seeds just in case you need to make medicines at one of the shrines. You're not likely to be... There are not a lot of collectibles along the way in this chapter. I don't remember picking up any plants or anything like that. There is a chest. There might be a couple of them. The first chest that you'll be able to access actually contains an important armor set. It's not all that easy to find because it's sort of tucked away, and it's behind where you come in. So where you actually enter Chapter 6, you make your way to the shrine, activate that shrine. You'd have to go retrace your tracks back, but it's elevated, it's higher up, and you'll see why you can't get to it until you get past a certain point in the first part of the chapter. So I'm just going through and updating everything, or upgrading everything, because I have the currency to use. You know, most of these armor sets I never used. In the first playthrough, in the early game, you use the armor sets that you get because they're each stronger than the one you had previously. By the time you get to the second playthrough, there are a couple of armor sets that you can get because you gain a material that you can't gain a lot of in one playthrough. So you can continue upgrading there. And in the third playthrough, because of Lunar New Year, you get a mask. I don't know whether you get the whole armor set. And anything that you haven't upgraded up to that point, you can upgrade. You won't have the materials to upgrade everything in the first two playthroughs. So if you're one of those people that are looking for armor that has great fire resistance, great shock resistance, great chill resistance, things like that, you would upgrade those first. So if you're looking at the 4 Banes, you would do that. If you're looking for armor that's going to increase the amount of ki that you have, that's a different armor set, depending on your playstyle and what it is that you're doing. You also have some soaks that can help with that. If you're looking for an armor set that's going to allow you to have a little bit more attack power, there's an armor set for that. So depending on your playstyle, you would have to figure out which armor you would be most interested in upgrading to the max. You'll always be able to upgrade more than one, so I wouldn't stress too much over it. What I used in the first playthrough until the end of the game, I probably used 4 or 5 different armor sets. In the second playthrough, I probably only used 2. In the third playthrough, I used 2. I was struggling with a particular boss and still got killed, so ended up switching back to the original armor set that I was using, and ended up finishing the fight with the original armor set that I was using instead of the one that I was trying. So you end up, depending on how much side quests you do and how much exploring you do, you end up with an awful lot of currency. A lot. I mean, and most of it you won't use. You can sell the things you're not using, although I didn't sell anything. I didn't have to. So once you've visited everyone in Zodiac Village, and you don't have to do this. This is just me being a bit of a nerd about how I play the game. But once you finish visiting everyone, then you can go back, and you really don't have to worry about coming here again unless there's medicines you need to buy because you've used them all up in some of the tougher boss fights that are coming up. Okay, we respawn at a point where all those enemies we just fought through will not reappear. So you can either use Fireproof Mantle or the Plantain Fan for this upcoming boss. I like using the Plantain Fan because it stuns any boss. And I think I'm pretty resistant in the other way, so I don't really need to use something specific for a particular resistance. But when you come into this arena, we'll see that we can't really get to where we need to get to, or at least I can't. Bajie can, because he can sort of transform into the little dust ball that flies around. And you see an old friend from chapter 4. The Supreme Inspector. He appeared when we removed the last seal in chapter 4. And the fight was halted before he was able to kill me. So this time, there's no one around to stop him from pummeling me, so we actually have to fight him. He flies around a lot. He has a fiery unicycle thing that he rides around on as well. And I mentioned fiery, so he's a sort of fire-based boss, if you want to call it that. He's got a little bit of lightning, but mostly it's the burn damage that happens to you. He's pretty fast, he's pretty agile, he's got a lot of different moves. That's a little unicycle thing. It's annoying, no matter what I do, I can't manage to avoid all of them. And even though it's telegraphed, I'm like, wow, he's telegraphing it, and I still can't avoid it. So lots of dodging. If you can immobilize him, that's always good for a few hits. The Apramana bat would have probably been helpful. And this is where he goes into this, lock you into a ring of fire. He can stun lock you with the little unicycle thing. So this allows me to get him stun locked and just do as much damage as I could do. I guess this thing probably lasts about 5 seconds, maybe 7 seconds. But it's enough to get a lot of damage in. The problem is the longer the fight goes on, the more difficult it becomes. So if you can whittle his health down pretty fast, that's always great. Yeah, but I've whiffed so much in this game. intent is to fly me off and drop me somewhere. But I'll put an end to him. And the somersault cloud from Sun Wukong is now available to us to use only in this chapter.
想是他在这山间云雾里躲藏了多年，感应到你的五根，记起旧主人，恰巧救你一命。他既认得你，倒不如先
So if you do New Game Plus, you will have Wukong's armor, you will have his staff, you maintain all the abilities you have, but you will not have the somersault cloud until you get to this point in the game. And you can't take it out of this point in the game. So, you know, there you have it. Yeah, it would be great if you could use that all along. You know, everybody who I've watched play this game says, oh, it's the Flying Nimbus. I'm like, okay, well, it's not, because this existed before the Flying Nimbus became a thing. Okay, which allows us to explore this area so much more easily. It's a very vertical, well, it's in the hills, so it's lots of ups and downs. And imagine if we'd had this when we were exploring the Webbed Hollow. This would have been awesome. But like I said, you can't take it anywhere, so we can only use it in this part of the game. This is the final long boss of the game. You don't really get anything special for fighting him. He is Zhao Long of the Waves. So everybody we fight in this chapter is a Yaguai chief. So that means they're more difficult than a lot of the bosses we've fought previously. But you're also stronger than you were when you fought any of those previous bosses. So there are going to be 4 bosses in this verdant path section of the foothills. The first one was the Supreme Inspector. This one was Zhao Long of the Waves. And we have 2 more if I do them in order. And you can go almost anywhere on the somersault cloud. I mean, there are limits, and if you fly high enough, it will stop. If you fly towards a part of the map where the developers don't intend you to go, it will stop. And you cannot warp back to a shrine from the somersault cloud. You have to actually land in order to do that. So off to the left here from where we were, there is the first of, I think it's 4 poison chiefs. Very easy fights. You know, I would call these mini bosses, but it's still a Yaguai chief, but they're not difficult at all. They're very slow, and you can usually get 1 hit in on them before they actually become active. So you can max your focus points. Run towards them and do that. Part of the reason I'm sticking with Django Bang is because you get the 4 focus points. Up to this point in the game, this would be the strongest staff that you can have. And there's one other staff that matches it in terms of all of the attributes, but you won't get that yet. So in terms of everything you have, even if you fully upgraded them all, this one is the strongest one that you can have. So as I said, there are 4 poison chiefs. Of course, poison is their particular bane. But at this point, you should have pretty good poison resistance. Actually, maybe. You know, in your first playthrough, you might not if you've been stacking your stats in another area. Okay, that ginormous cricket that you just saw is our next boss. And he's an important one. So I don't think you can actually progress without defeating that boss, actually. There are a few of them like that. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of those bosses you have to defeat. So he hops around the arena like that. And instead of chasing him, I tried chasing him. You know, it's funny. I always sort of get close to him, and then he hops off again. So unless you're really fast, and you can catch him. I mean, you know, my problem is always when I try to catch him, I end up not sticking the landing and falling off his back, and then he flies off before I can get back on him. So because he's making a full circuit of the arena, all you have to do is fly back over to one of his stopping points. It doesn't have to be this one. It can be the first one, which would be off to the left of this little plateau. It could be one to the right. There are 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and then this one. You see him over there. That's his original spot. Then he comes to this one. And because we were waiting for him, we have the time to, I don't know what the timing is. It's probably something like maybe 8 seconds. So you have the time to grab on. In the first playthrough, I kept getting this wrong. I would do this grip thing, and then I would let go, and then when it says grip again, I would grip, but then the key is you're not supposed to let go of the grip. So despite the message making it seem like you're letting go and holding on again, you just maintain it. Don't let it go. And you should have enough stamina by now for that to happen. The second part of this, you actually need to equip the fireproof mantle. The fireproof mantle will keep your health from being disintegrated by the fire. So most people get stuck with that. Either they fall off the cricket's back when he jumps, or when they get to this point, you know, they burn to death because they don't realize they need to equip the fireproof mantle. But if you equipped it for the Supreme Commander, you would have left it equipped. So the reward is Sun Wukong's original headpiece. Which, because this is my third playthrough, I already had it. But that's the reward that you get. So your goal is to go around and recreate all of Sun Wukong's armor. There's the headpiece, the chest piece, the foot pieces, and the arm braces. Each of them will come from a different boss. And this boss isn't really a boss fight, because you didn't really have to fight him. You just had to sort of figure out what the tricks were. All the other ones you have to fight. And that was the Fangtail General that we just got through defeating, I guess you want to call it that. Now we're at the Rhino Watch Slope. And there are 4 bosses in this area as well. actually wasn't trying to do that. I was going to find the second poison chief, but once you fly over the boss arena, it sort of knocks you off of the somersault cloud and forces you into a fight. On what planet does a boar think he can defeat a rhino? Interesting. This is the gold armored rhino. And it's a bit of a gimmick fight. And there's a couple of ways you can deal with him. You can use the pillar stance, which actually is a better choice since he will tend to come to you. If you use a smash dance, he will get away a lot of the time. I used the smash dance there and got him. You have to break his horn in order to be able to do real damage to him. You can chip away doing minor damage without breaking the horn, but you'll die long before you're able to defeat him that way. So the idea is to break the horn. It'll come back, and you have to do it several times. But as you can see, it took away a nice chunk of his health. About 25 to 28%. He's just going to run around the arena. I don't know whether he's paying attention to Bajie or not, but he just sort of charges around the arena. Yeah, see, if you attack him, he's got sort of like rock solid. You just bounce right. Your weapon will just bounce right off of him. So unless you get a full focus point hit, it won't really break the horn. There you go. He's a brute of a boss. He absorbs a lot of damage. There we go. Sorry, buddy, but I need your armor. Okay, so this gives us the chest piece. So 2 armor pieces down. We have the head piece and the chest piece. Now we need the foot and arm braces.
这猴子和老猪一样，浑身是宝，不光自己死不透，连披挂也化作了山中灵物，还想着杀光天上鹰犬，烧他们下去。
I guess the way to look at it is each shrine in this part of chapter 6, there will be 1 armor piece that you can gain.
你速速跟上。
So at the first shrine, which was Verdant Path, you would have had Fingtail General, although he was actually closer to the Rhino Watch Slope than Verdant Path. In the Rhino Slope, you have the Rhino, which gives you an armor piece. Okay, so we're Now we're approaching the second poison chief. And all of them are exactly alike. You know, so you can get 4 focus points, or 3 if 3 is your max. Run up. Get one good solid hit on him. Immobilize him. Call out your Pluck of Many to do as much damage as you can. Use your Wandering White to do even more damage, and this fight can be over with in 30 seconds or so. Yeah. This seemingly was a little bit of a better setup than the first one of them that I fought. So 2 poison chiefs down, 2 to go. So in this, it's just easier to go back to Rhino Slope to traverse to the next area. It gives me a better sense of the map. I was so used to doing this without a map. I know there's a map now. I still don't use it. But the goal now is to go and fight the final frog boss of the game. Lang Bao Bao, or Bobo, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, B-A-W. Maybe it's Bao Bao, Lang Bao Bao, I don't know. And there are going to be some of the Celestial Knights around here, but they're really focused on fighting the frog boss and not necessarily fighting me. But if you get in their way, they will attack you. So if you get close to them, they'll attack you as well. But they'll also attack the frog boss. Yeah, that was stupid. Immediately get eaten by the guy. I don't think these Celestial guys do a whole lot of damage to him. But he also, the frog boss also uses Rock Solid a lot. So you can't do any damage to him when he's in Rock Solid form. And the way you can sort of tell is that in Rock Solid form, he's basically the color of the ground. But when he's not in Rock Solid form, he turns back into this red frog that he was before. Now he's not in Rock Solid, so you can get more damage in. Yeah, I don't think I've been eaten twice by one of these guys, but apparently this time I didn't dodge quick enough. Yeah, notice I'm ignoring most of these other knights because they're not really likely to damage me. Now, once you defeat Lang Bobo, you can then defeat them. They will not disappear, so you have to go and kill them. Not sure I know why I did that, because I don't believe there's a chest that we get. So once we kill the boss, we really, I guess we could have used Cloud Step and just left. Unless there's a chest that I'm not remembering. Okay, doesn't seem to be one. So we're going to head off. The only boss left in the Rhino Slope area is Poison Chief number 3. That guy over there is the... No, there's a boss. But then there's the next shrine and the next boss. Let's see if we can't get the Poison Chief first. Yeah, this one's a little bit more difficult to spot from the air because he's sort of, depending on the angle that you're flying it at. You use the same strategy. Right, you hit him once, you immobilize him, you call out your Pluck of Many, who are also able to immobilize him, and then you do as much damage as you can. Got ourselves a mine core. And this little area is easy to spot because of the red leaves on the trees. So we will activate the shrine, which is the deer site forest. And we have, yeah, if you're flying in on the somersault cloud, it will deactivate the cloud. So you can't use the cloud during boss fights. You can only use it for travel. And this is our boss. The cloud treading deer. kind of cool. Reminds me of one of the Elden Ring bosses. So this boss is at least in phase 1, is a frost-based boss. And in addition to frost, he creates these tornadoes, which if you were using the wind tamer, you would be able to eliminate those. But if you can avoid being hit by them, you're good. You're not a difficult boss. You just have to avoid the tornadoes. And once you, I guess, beat him the first time, he will come back now as a poison-based boss, or it looks like blood, but I think it does poison damage to you. His moveset doesn't change. It's just that he's using this blood stuff instead of frost. And Bajie is a little bit more involved in this part of the fight. He heals you, but that doesn't mean you can't die. So if you can get your max focus point shots off, you'll be able to stun him and get a few hits in. A smarter move on my part would have been to save some of the immobilizations until I'm able to stun him, hit him a couple of times, immobilize him, hit him a few more times, and then use Wandering Light. And with that, the cloud-treading deer is defeated. And with that, we have the third of the armor pieces. So the 5-set bonus is 4 armor pieces plus the staff, all of which you would get from this this area of the game. So the 2 things left would be the staff, which I already have, and the arm braces. So in this this deer site forest, there are actually 3 bosses. The Cloud Treading Deer, which we've just defeated, Poison Chief number 4, which we defeated, and the Waterwood Beast, which we're not going to defeat right now. We're actually going to see if we can't get the arm braces first. So oh, sorry, I miscounted my poison chiefs. We need the final poison chief. Again, it's sort of like rinse and repeat. It's the same moveset. They're easy bosses. They're not very mobile. If you have the resources to withstand the poison, you're good. So that one probably took about 15 seconds. Okay, so we're gonna head towards the little foggy tree area over there. I was actually looking for the wood beast, but I'll find him later. Oh no, there are a couple of wood beasts in the game, but there's only one boss wood beast. The other ones are little regular wood beasts. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go over here. No, we will do that. We just won't do it right now. So we're going to activate this shrine. This is the mantis catching swamp. And Bajie is trying to catch a mantis. He should have left well enough alone. That mantis wasn't bothering him. Until now.
先知，快救我一救！这东西可不好消化。哎呀！
So the mantis is exacting a little bit of revenge on Bajie for messing with him, slicing up his insides. So we got Kung Fu Mantis here. Actually, not a difficult boss, but a little tricky because he moves crazy. He's very fast. Remember in my first playthrough, I actually died quite a few times to this guy. So this is phase 2, where he does the little cool move that he just did, and then dips the blades in Bajie's stomach acid. Not that he needed any of that. He's pretty fast, and you know, his moveset gets a little bit more wild. And using the plantain fan will stun him enough for you to get some real damage in. Most bosses won't be able to hit you while you're using the fan, or when the fan is active. There are a couple of bosses that can. So you're not. Actually, there's one boss that can. I don't know whether a couple. It's certainly one. We'll see that one. It still sort of stun locks him, but you can take damage while he's swinging away if you get too close to him. Yeah, I switched to the stone monkey because he was causing too much damage to me with his little slicey moves. He's got these freaking slices that just does a tremendous amount of damage. You just get 1 or 2 hits on him, he's dead. I should have used, I actually should have used thrust stance. Since he was always coming towards me, I don't know why I was trying to just swing away at him like that. And this will give us the arm braces. There's Bajie vomits us out of his stomach.
这次又劳小侄救命了。老猪吃素，想必里面也不是垃圾。哎，你莫嫌，你莫嫌。好在你把这东西取回来，不算太亏。现在师兄的金甲都攒齐了，该去那水帘洞里坐坐嘞。你随我来。
He's basically pointing the way to move on to the Cloud Curtain Cave, which will transition us to the end game part. But that's not what we want to do first, because we have a boss. We have the Son of Stones that we haven't fought yet. And we have the water... What's it called? The Waterwood Beast. And we have the giant Shagangdang. So there are 3 bosses, which we will take on in the final section, the final part of the series. Take care. Talk to you guys soon. See you next time.